Hello, everyone. Good morning. So, welcome to a new episode for Green Vibes podcast. And today we are here with a special guest that is Sarien. Sarien is Executive Director for P.E.A.C.E Canada. P.E.A.C.E stands for People Ensure Animal Care Exists. Right, Sarien? Welcome here. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So, Sarien, let's start. What is P.E.A.C.E Canada? What do you do? Tell us a little bit about your great job here. I heard about something, I was reading something, but I want to listen to hear for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We are a Canadian registered charity. Here based in BC, British Columbia, Canada. We were formed mainly due to myself being involved in activism and being involved in two rescues back to back and seeing there was no actual organization that took care of the coordination and the homing of rescued farmed animals, specifically having a truck ready, having a trailer ready, having connections with all the farm sanctuaries in the area, knowing who's got space, who doesn't, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how that was the start of P.E.A.C.E. But it's grown so much because we saw a need for resources, especially with regards to if individuals want to start a farm sanctuary. People across Canada looking to find a farm sanctuary started a Canadian farm sanctuary map to give them information about those sanctuaries if they want to go out and support them. And it's grown also as myself being a mom and seeing a lot of need within schools. We started P.E.A.C.E Humane, which has some resources on there for compassionate alternatives. And there's lots of other projects going as well with that. And then the Billy Fund. But yeah, and a big one now, sorry for myself, is we just got a property. So that's it's just a lot of work because we're going through accreditation. We want to add a micro sanctuary for roosters because as a rescue, we find roosters need a lot of homes, especially roosters and piggies. And then as well with our Peace Rescue, we need space for quarantine and foster to help out farm sanctuaries because we find that's such a huge need within the farm sanctuary community.
So you are not a sanctuary, right? You
not yet. No, we have.
That's the new project that you're talking about. That it become in the future, maybe become a sanctuary also.
Oh no, we already got a grant to start building a little micro sanctuary, you call it. So we're gonna start small because we're gonna practice what we preach to everybody with regards to start small, make sure you know what you like, you have everything in place, like all the policies and procedures. Okay. Because our main focus is rescue, and we don't want to take that funds away from that because that's the base of why we started as an organization.
Perfect. So, so the main job is to help the other sanctuaries, right? To give all support that they need. And what's the main issue? What's the most the other sanctuary needs for now that they most needed? They more needed for all the sanctuaries. It's food. It's people's hand.
It's very individualized. It's very individualized. We always tell people reach out to your local farm sanctuary to see what they need. Because one farm sanctuary might need help more with administrative work. Another might need more help with infrastructure. So building fencing, coops. Another might need help with accounting. That's more the admin side as well. So it really depends on each sanctuary, and that's why we always say reach out to your local one to find out.
Yeah, because we always travel around here in Canada. We are from Toronto, right? We are here in Toronto, so close by here in Ontario. We always go to some sanctuaries to visit and to see what they really need. And it's sad because the most of we visit, right, Eric? The most of them went there. They need a lot. As you said, it's a simple fence. We had last one that we was there. We just show up there. Actually, we didn't even let them know that we are going there. Well, we are from Green Vibes. We just introduced ourselves and said, "Oh, can you help us here to build this fence?" Right? They had all woods was there, right? They all materials there, but they don't have people to help there, right? So it's simple, right? It's like a volunteer that they needed actually at that time just to build some fence there because they had some pigs and the big pigs was running away from there.
Yeah, pigs are
And
so good. Pigs and goats are like, I call them eternal toddlers. They're eternal 3-year-olds. Like they'll test if you want to test fencing, put a goat or a pig in
yeah,
fencing.
exactly. That it was both. The goat was good there, but the pigs always they find some holes and some part there. I don't know. Maybe they dig in some in the floor. I don't know, but they
Yeah,
always
they're
find some
super
ways.
strong.
To run away. So yeah, it was simple, right? It's not costing nothing because some people think, oh, they need a lot of money, and yes, for sure, need it's expensive. I think maybe you can tell more. That to have a sanctuary, it's very very expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I think that's why and there's a very low, they call it a low barrier of entry into any sanctuary life. So even when you look at dogs and cats, and there's no training, anything that you need. So anybody can just, if they have the land, start taking in animals and not think about the cost for the fencing, for the all seasons, because you have to also think for all seasons, because what an individual's need is for summer is different from what they need
Or
in
they
winter. And
need,
especially if you've got crazy winters,
yeah, you
like
need a
you don't want
shelter,
them.
you need all,
Yeah, you need
right?
heating, you need to make, and then you have that heating costs. So, and then the feed costs, because that's a big problem now too in our world, right? The hay shortage. So hay prices have gone up like crazy. So funding is always needed. But I also just want to point out, if you can't do the physical work, there's a lot of administrative work that takes a lot of time. So if somebody's not living close to a sanctuary, even
Yeah.
if you are across country and you're somebody who loves doing admin work, social media, accounting, you can just help them with, that's huge as well. So they need the physical, but they also need that administrative work. But
Yeah,
going back to the
even share, right? We always said to people, just share the information in the social media, right? Follow them. Every sanctuary has the social media, everything. So just share some posts that they needed food, they need something, right? And we are thinking that it's last year we are doing like this kind of job. We put on a face on the social media close by our neighbor, right? And ask for all. We are going to sanctuary this weekend. If someone wants to donate some food or something or like some supplies that they needed, so give it to me that we are gonna bring there. So we are trying to help like this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this kind. So, but I saw that they really need help, right? The sanctuaries they really need. I went to last year. We went to one and it was very bad. They had some. It's not big. It's a very very small, but they really need help with the animals because they cannot support more animals there. They can't. They want, but they can't. They had no support for this, and that's why I think that your job, that your organization, they're doing a great job and you help a lot, right? They're
Well, I think it depends on what you're looking at, because we can't run sanctuaries for people. We can help them and give them tools and information and things like that. But each sanctuary operator, I think the hardest thing in sanctuary in this world of rescue is saying no and making sure that when you take in animals, you take in individuals that you can support financially, that you have enough land for. Because as soon as you take on too many, it causes a lot of problems with land management as well.
exactly.
Too many hooves, a lot of mud, then you have to figure out drainage, things like that. And then it negatively impacts the individuals that you've rescued as well. So I think we're happy to give things like, we've got a list of grants that we put up on our website that helps sanctuaries if they want to go through it to see. But the best thing is to network with local sanctuaries, because where you are right now in Ontario, we we're more Western Canada with rescues. So we deal more with like the BC, Alberta, and Manitoba. But now that we've gotten the property, we told our board for the next 2 years, we just have to scale back to BC and Alberta while we grow, because it's a larger financial undertaking taking in a property. But with regards to support, it's more resources support that we give them. And if they want to talk to us and we can guide them and help them, I do want to point out an amazing resource called the Open Sanctuary Project. Have you ever heard of them?
Open? How do you say?
Yeah, the Open Sanctuary Project.
Okay. No, I've never heard about. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, it's an online free resource that offers free resources and for information for sanctuaries, from anything from an intake form. So it helps you answer questions. Can I take this individual? Do I have the knowledge to take care of them? Do I have the proper fencing? Do I have all these things before you take the individual in to make sure that you are set up to get it done? There's amazing resources about policies that you can implement in your property and things like that. So anybody starting a sanctuary, we've done a webinar with them on things to think about. So I really highly recommend you check them out as well, because they also support sanctuaries. So if you have a question, oh, my goat's having this issue, you can email them and they help, but they're not vets. You still have to rely on your vets, have great vets, but I found they're invaluable as well.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned a very good point. The vet, that's very important for sure. That's all sanctuaries needed. And the organization, you provide also some vets, this kind of support for the sanctuaries also, for the vets. How do, if I have my sanctuary and I need a vet, what should I do?
You need to reach out. You need to, before you even start your sanctuary, you need to look if there's any local vets that can take care of your animals, because
can help in this part, right? For sure.
We can if you need help, but just a Google search will do that, right? It will show you, just Google farm vet in your area. And if you already have an established relationship with other sanctuaries in the area, you might ask them who's the best vets, because unfortunately, the majority of the vets work for animal ag.
Yeah.
So there might be some individuals that don't want to work in the sanctuary setting. So you need to make sure that you find someone who's willing to work with you, who are willing to do some more compassionate practices, and being open to those conversations and learning from each other. And that's one of the big barriers sometimes, and hard things that I feel sanctuary operators are amazing advocates for animals in that space, because they constantly have to be like trying to get them to do more compassionate practices.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. We had one problem. You are in BC, right? And I saw that 2021, some climate catastrophes happened there and affects too many farms there, right? Some animal farms. How's the situation now? And they still need help. How's this situation? Because it's a lot of flooding, right, that happened in BC from last year, or even for this winter, like for last winter. And how's the situation now for these farms there?
We also had the forest fires in the summer. So it's just like, it was full on back. Yeah, no, it's all cleared up. They got funding because, of course, they got government support. So any lost stock was replaced, and things like that. We, as an organization, the sad reality, most farm sanctuaries across Canada are full, if not overfull. Especially for larger individuals, because where we are, there's a lot of dairy farms. So we weren't allowed in. Nobody was allowed in to that space. Not even the SPCA was allowed in. The farmers and the police was dealing with that. So legally, as a charity, we weren't even allowed to assist.
Yeah,
so,
you can't, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of barriers sometimes with farm animal rescue. And that's why it's so beautiful when we do get a worker or a farmer or somebody who's a neighbor of a farmer getting permission for them to release an individual to us, because mostly they're considered a product that they're going to be able to get money for back if they lose that product, in air quotes. So a lot of farmers aren't willing to, even in a catastrophe, surrender.
Because you said that in this situation that the dairy farms, it's like, say that they are a company.
Yeah.
Right. So the government just help them if they need it.
Yeah, because they lost, because animals, unfortunately, under the law, is looked at as products, right? So they're not looked at as individuals. So if you, as an organization or a company, lose profits from a catastrophe,
I got it. Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? They're just insurance is gonna cover that. And although I've heard, because it's a flood zone, it was an issue. Some insurances weren't even covering the losses for some farms, because they didn't have flood insurance. So
Okay, so just for the people's understanding, even for me, right? I'm learning. We'll talk about this one. It's awesome because I'm learning everything. Just for the peoples that are watching us and listeners to understand, dairy farm and sanctuary is totally different, right?
yeah,
Right. And your support, your organization, it's focused for the sanctuary and not for the dairy farm. Am I
correct.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So every fund, every people, if the sanctuary, if someone needs help, if they are a sanctuary, they can reach you out. If they are dairy farm, they can go to the government. Government's gonna help them.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And I think the only thing that we work with some farmers, dairy farms, or any farm is if a farmer, usually they want to stay anonymous, is willing to surrender an individual because they don't want them to be killed. That's the only time we work with a farmer.
Okay.
And I know there's amazing companies out there that are helping farmers who are interested in transitioning away from animal ag. But that's not our specialty. I always look up who to just forward the information to them.
And the government, they are doing their job. They are doing their part with with the sanctuaries, or will need more help from them.
I think sanctuary in a whole, from an organizational standpoint. So saying that it's a nonprofit and we're asking for donations from the project, from the public.
Because I'm sorry to interrupt, but just
Yeah.
my concern that I always saw, we see 1,000 of profit no profits organizations there. The first thing that you saw, donation.
Yes.
They always ask donation.
I know.
It's look like, okay, I'm gonna open my own no profit, put my website to donation. That's it, right? I think that's most my concern about who is doing the right jobs, who is doing the right thing, and who is not, who is just thinking profit, who is thinking get the donation and doing nothing, just pretending doing something for the center, right?
Yes, and I think that ties in with that thing, and which I'll get to, is the fact that it's such a young space. It's only since the 80s that this organizational nonprofit charity sector of Farm Sanctuary has been around, since Farm Sanctuary New York. So it's still super young if you look at it from that standpoint. There's no governing body, there's no liability, there's no need for accreditation. That's why there's this one organization called the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, GFAST. It's very popular in the States. It's not as big here. We're trying to promote it here, and we're also going through it ourselves now that we have the land, because again, practice what you preach. I do feel that's the bare minimum that any organization that sanctuaries should have. Because what you're talking about is sustainability, and it's such a huge topic. And it is a sad thing, because it does give that sense of that the space, if you want to start a farm sanctuary, it's not sustainable because you constantly have to ask for money from the public to be able to even run. And that's why there's a lot of avenues that we're exploring, like for our property, because Hugo and I, part of our succession plan is we want to leave the space for the organization, and we want the organization to thrive. So we're looking at a lot of other revenue incomes. So it's not like a monocrop farm setup where you just rely on fundraising, because in that case, like what we've seen with COVID hitting, all that funds goes down and then people go into a panic.
Exactly.
So what you need to do, one thing that we're doing is we're attaching a veganic farm to the property so that we can have that income for the charity. We're doing an event space, which is separate from the animals, so that we can promote veganic events, especially for myself as a mom. A vegan pumpkin patch with no petting zoo attached to it would just be the best thing ever. And partnering with some local vegan organizations doing vegan egg hunts, things like that, so we can have like a community space, have some income again for the sanctuary. And then a lot of other things like lavender farm and things like that. So ecotourism, agritourism, and finding other multiple revenues so that you can create more of a sustainable thing, so you don't constantly have that. And that's the hard thing that each sanctuary operator has to take on themselves. Their board needs to take on and look, okay, how can we create a revenue income so that we can be sustainable in the long run.
Okay, I got it. So the Peace Canada has some programs, right? I've heard here. Tell me about, you have Peace Resource, right? Peace Rescue, the Billy Fund, Peace Human Education, right? Can you tell me about each one? Let's start Peace Resources. What is this?
Resources, that's free resources on our website for both sanctuaries and the public. So anything that I've learned from sanctuary operators, or I myself have learned through, or our volunteers or employees have learned, they put it up there for free. Because sometimes a lot of time goes into researching what's the best X, what's the best Y. And we want to make it easy for everybody, anybody in the sanctuary community looking for something. We want to grow that resource. So it's a lot of information for you just at your fingertips. So that's the one that we have. In there, we have also a roadmap for how to start a farm sanctuary. That leads more into the public resources, which also includes the map that we talked about with regards to if you want to find a farm sanctuary in your area. We line out which ones are vegan and not. We line up which are charities or not, because some people want to be able to donate and get that tax receipt, and they just think everybody can give a tax receipt, which is not the case. You have to be a charity. So we've grown that resource as we find feedback from the public, what they're looking for. So we'll keep growing that. Peace Humane was actually my mommy side coming in. It started because my son started kindergarten and there was an egg hatching project. And I was like, what? You guys are still doing this? So we're actually almost done creating an app, which we hope will replace live animal egg hatching in classrooms from an educational standpoint. And then any resources for using, like, we kind of wanted to create that resource as like a compassion for all, so human and non-human animals. So it's very inclusive, and we really want to grow that as well online as a resource, and creating more apps, more things for teachers and parents to help them find alternatives that's for a more compassionate lifestyle. So that's the P.E.A.C.E Humane.
Yeah, it's cool. I think that when you reach the kids, right, it's a big thing, it's a big challenge, because they are gonna bring it. We are always talk about this, because when you teach the kids how to do it or something, they bring it home, right? They come to their parents and said, hey, look at what I did today in the school. We did it like that. It's a different egg hunt, right? And I hope that more schools start doing this kind of research and the projects. It's great, right? When you teach kids about those kind of love animals and how to protect the animals.
Yeah, compassion for all. Because if you start young with instill that compassion for even like the earthworm and saving the earthworm and putting them, if they wash out from the rain, and putting, like, it's just this, I can see it with my own kids, our own kids, I shouldn't say mine, it's beautiful because we don't force them. We just tell them the truth.
Exactly.
And we just live it. I think that's the big thing for me always, like, you be that change, right? Like you can't expect others to change if you can't do it yourself. So yeah, that's my little passion project. And we hope to do in-class presentations and grow that project a lot in the next 2 years.
This is the same for P.E.A.C.E Human Education, right? That's the P.E.A.C.E Human. Okay.
Yeah, because Farm Sanctuary New York is like they have like the best humane education program for students. They go into classrooms and teach them about the environmental impact of animal egg, and they have like meet the animals from the sanctuary. So that's really, in the last years, that's the program they don't have in Canada. I've been bugging them. I'm like, can you please just go in Canada?
Yeah. All the time I tell him, because when I'm looking for something, I'm making research, and all the time it's never in Canada. Oh my goodness. It's missing so much things here. We needed to bring it for
And
Canada.
even when you said about Ontario, Ontario, that's the big one. That's the
Yeah, you
most
guys
popular.
are ahead.
But we have more in BC than in Ontario.
Yeah.
BC has more when you.
No, there's this really good coming a conference for animals and teachers that Mike's based out of Toronto. Yeah.
But it's always hard. In other places, you see in UK, US.
Yes, but they're ahead. They're a little bit ahead. We just have to catch up.
Exactly.
Right? So
that's why.
Unless Farm Sanctuary can come over here, which I doubt will happen because I've been bugging them for a while, we're hoping that we can hire some staff to be able to do that in the future for us across Canada. So virtually for students in classrooms as well as in classrooms here in BC, or even across Canada if we can hire educators. But that's my you always have to have plans, right? Like 5-10 year plans, and then put it out in the universe, and however it happens, it happens.
Exactly. We see that the things are changing. Now it's changed a little bit faster, right? Let's talk when we talk about vegan. Think 10 years ago, 20 years ago about vegan, it's nothing. You go to groceries, you can't find enough. There's nothing to buy unless you buy just fruit.
No cheese.
Right?
Even the soy cheese wasn't vegan because it had, what was it, resin in it or whatever? And I'm just like, so now people are like all snobby about diet cheese. I'm like, it's keeping the pizza together. Like, I'm not picky.
Exactly. So and we see that it's changed, right? You go to groceries that before you couldn't see any part of vegan foods there. Now you see 8 feet, right? In 16 feet, 3 to 4 shelves in the big groceries. So, which is good.
Even the restaurants today is very.
I was gonna say, fully vegan
Yes.
restaurants. You can walk in and you don't have to even think. I remember we just did an Easter egg hunt, a vegan one, first one here locally, with little vegan treats, and all the kids were like, it was like, I want to say 30 to 50 kids showed up. It was amazing, and all the kids were like, "So, mommy, what can I eat? Like, which ones are vegan?" And then the parents being like, "It's all vegan," and their faces just lighting up.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm like, that's me when I first walked into my first fully vegan restaurant, right? Like, you're just like, what? I can eat everything?
Everything, exactly. Exactly. You find everything that you need, right? And something that 10 years ago, I think, we can't find. It's not too easy to find this. And even now with the internet, you go there and search, they deliver at your home. So it's pretty easy now. It's much faster now. And even the schools, we met one school here, remember last year here in Ontario. It's a vegan school. And they teach, yes, exactly. That's pretty awesome. That's awesome. And
I didn't know we had a vegan school in Canada. That's awesome.
Yes.
It's in Barrie.
It's Barrie here in Canada, Ontario. Cool. It's a Barrie city. So they teach all the kids. Actually, it's funny because the class is outside.
And outdoor school. I can see that.
And the break time, it's inside. It's the opposite because all the teaching, all the lessons is with the animals. They have all kinds of animals there that the kids can have contact with them. They plant. They play outside, and they feel it's fun because even winter they put pictures and you see the kids on the floor wet with snow, doesn't matter. And the break time to eat, you go eat inside at the classroom.
That's outdoor schools. They're awesome.
Exactly. And we was there and we asked for the teachers there how the parents, if it's everybody is vegan. They said no, it's not. They are not vegans. Even the parents, they are not vegans. But there is something different to teach the kids that they bring home every day. Said that, my son come home every day with something new that they learn in the school. And I like to learn with him, right? Mm-hmm. See how, I thought, I said, why so many schools, not to be completely vegan, 100% vegan, but some parts of the lesson parts of the day, they teach the kids how to love animals, how to
grow your food,
your own foods, where the meat comes from, right? If you ask for some
They
the
don't want
kids,
to talk about that. That's part of the egg hatching issue that I have
right?
is that teachers don't want to talk about the truth even. Like you ask them, like, do you teach the kids the truth? What happens to these chicks after you take them back to the farm? Oh, they just live a happy life with their families. And like they come from hatcheries. They're never going to know their moms. Like they're going to be killed for dog food because you contaminated them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's hard.
I don't know where we have the news, but I'm not pretty sure if you in USA or in Canada, because the teachers have the project there, and the news is about the foods. Where come the foods? In the first food trip, the kids is chosen for the know about the chocolate factory, and they go, oh, it's very awesome. But the second food trip is very messy because the kids wish to know about the where coming from the hot dog, my hamburger. And when the kids go to the meat factory, oh my goodness, all the kids make
They start to scream because they
scream and they crying because it's so.
They took them to a slaughterhouse?
they bring the kids for the slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah. I think it was in UK, this one.
I don't
I
remember.
don't remember. But they take kids for the slaughterhouse.
And big mess because
I know some adults that don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to see that. Like, that's
Me neither.
traumatizing.
Sometimes she shared something in the Instagram. Something, oh, did you see this? I said, no, I can't see. I can't.
Yeah.
I really, it's by myself. I can't. If I see,
Yeah. I'm already vegan, okay? And I don't need convincing.
Yeah, exactly.
but I think it's the first school that make this, because it's so funny because sometimes all the kids, I think, okay, imagination, the kids is, oh, where are you from my hamburger?
Yeah.
And they never think my hamburger is from the cow, this killing the cow. So for kids to see this, I know it's very hard. Some people, it's too hard.
Yeah. And I
It'd be
remember
probably controversial over there.
when I was young, when I was a kid, that's in my mind. I think, okay, where the meats came from? Okay, that's an animal. They just die naturally, and they go and take the meat, the animals, and did the hamburger. That's it. But they died naturally, not. There is not a slaughterhouse and nothing. That's my mind, right? When it was even if you some jacket, okay, that's a fox jacket. Okay. The fox died naturally, and they grab the fur and make my jacket. That's it.
Well, I think that's what most adults think when they think of the word humane, right? Like I'm just like, it's so much humane washing going on. I'm just like, what do you think? They just like fall asleep and don't get up. Like, it's not how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think that all the people think that animals have a happy life, as you said, but the imagination for the kids and the people is a big land with grass and all the animals is there. Okay, you take the milk from the cow without hurting. Then the mother cow is always with the babies. But when you see the reality, is so shocking for people. And oh my goodness, it's happy. Even my parents. My parents is here in Canada now, and sometimes I show because my parents grew up in the small cities, and they don't believe that.
And they are used to kill chickens and cows and pigs and eat it. But they grow in the small farm, I'd like to say that. And that's for our own consumption. It's not to sell or nothing, but they are used with this.
And now you show for them what's happening in the factory. My father say, it's lying. It's not happening. What's happening? They don't believe that it happened.
Yeah.
These things.
It's hard. It's hard for that part. So but it's good to see how the things are. As I told you, how the things are changed about vegans. We are vegan. It's not so long time. It's 4 years, right? For now, around this 4 years that we become vegan. And but just after really see what happened, even I don't like to see. As you said, I'm convinced now I'm vegan. That's fine. I don't need to see what happened with animals. But
I think it's good if you're in a space where you have to educate others about the practices, of course, like go and do the research, watch the videos and stuff. But like I remember with Dominion, I've watched Earthlings, I've been at places, so I've seen it. And so when I started watching Dominion, I cried in every section and I had to like put it away and come back to the next section. And so I just decided, I'm like, I already know all this, but I feel like it's such a great educational tool to be out there. Like you said, people don't know unless you show them, and then they're like, well, I'm sure that doesn't happen in my backyard.
Exactly.
And that's why getting footage of local things to be like, no, this happened here in Abbotsford, it happened here in Toronto. So I think that's the only way that it's going to click for people, if it's local.
Yeah. And when it's animals, we need to respect them. We see what happened now with all so many diseases shown, right? That's come up, and it's all animals, right? It's all because animals. You are eating animals. Yeah, exactly. So we need to take care. We need to respect them, leave them in their environment. And people said that, how can I help at this part? Okay, leave it there alone. That's your big help, right? Leave animals alone, leave in there. So
yeah.
If now you take about diseases, on BC have the news that have the bird flu in
avian flu, bird flu.
Yeah.
No, it's here. It's here.
Yeah, you have it there, right?
From the bottom up, and then it came across to us. Yeah, we have it here.
And I heard the solution is just to take the bird feeds, right?
No,
because
I heard the news.
I really.
No! It's if the public.
They recommend for the people just to take out. Don't leave the bird feeds there.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Sanctuary World. So it's like, for the public. They recommend just so that birds don't interact with each other as much, so that it spreads. It's almost like not creating a community hall setup where
they cannot wear masks, right?
Come together, have a chat, have some food, spread a disease, go off and spread it to everybody else.
6 feet.
Yeah,
right?
For sanctuaries, it's scary, especially if sanctuaries, because a lot of us are based in. You need to buy land agricultural land, right? So that's where you are based, because that's where animals are allowed. And that's usually surrounded by other animal ag situations. Like we've got a bunch of dairies around us. We don't have many bird barns. So for sanctuaries that are close to bird barns, there's a real stress, because if one of those bird barns tests positive, they kill birds in a certain radius around you. So you need to show that you're following all the biosecurity protocols, and it's hard because you have to keep them enclosed. They can't interact with wildlife. They can't interact with any rodents because they can trample them in. You need to have like biosecurity stepping for staff or volunteers so that they don't get into the space and spread the diseases. So it's very stressful for sanctuaries at this point. So if you can, that's another thing, reach out to your local sanctuary and see how you can help them with their biosecurity implications, because that's also money, right? If you can donate towards something to help them out, whatever they need. Again, each sanctuary is very individualized with what they need.
Okay, exactly. So, and for now, just for finish, I don't know if you have something else, but for P.E.A.C.E Canada, what's the goals for this year or for the next year? What's the project that's coming up?
Well, the big one is our rescue barn. So we just moved to this property in March, and there's a pole barn on this property. We currently, on the side of the barn, we were able to sanitize some of the concrete, and we have an individual in quarantine there right now. But we really want to build out this barn and create kind of, in Canada, there's no just farmed animal rescue, quarantine and foster space. So that's what we want for that barn, like a quarantine foster medical space that we can use. So that's the big project for the next year or two, is fundraising for that, doing events for that, and building that out. And then, of course, the micro sanctuary, continuing to grow with the resources on both our websites, launching the app, and possibly using some of that funds to see how else we can help with humane education. That's pretty much it. And then we hope in like 5 years, 5 to 10 years, to attach a larger sanctuary on the back of our property, because we back onto a mountain, and half of the property we're actually going to donate for a wildlife refuge. So
I want to visit.
Come, please do. It's
I will.
fun.
I will. I'm just waiting for your invite.
Oh, consider it done. When you're in BC, come visit. So we just have to look, because we have a resident bear and we want to respect the wildlife. So we just have to look at how we can coexist with them, but create a predator-proof space for the individuals that we rescue, so that they're safe as well and enjoy the space. So that's the big goals. And just continue to do. Oh, and if anybody wants, we do a yearly T-shirt fundraiser for Canadian vegan farm sanctuaries. So we're doing that during the summer. So do keep an eye out for that. It's kind of like an artist donate their talents every year for a design, and then we put all the sanctuaries that come and say they want to participate. We send out a couple of emails saying we want the permission. We put their names on the back. So it's almost like a band tour T-shirt that we do a fundraiser for them. So that's something coming up this summer.
Awesome. That's perfect. You have any more question?
No, that's okay. How the people can oh my goodness, today my brain is very hard.
You need a coffee.
No, I don't need
water.
How people can help you, your organization?
Oh, help sanctuaries. I think that's the big one. Just if they want to learn more about us and how they can support us, they can visit our website, P.E.A.C.E Canada. Yeah, peacecanada.org. Follow us on social media. Reach out if you want to volunteer. That'd be great. But
yeah, I'm gonna add the link.
Support your local sanctuaries.
I'm gonna put the link and the website here in the interview. Our manager is gonna do that, right? He's almost sleeping here. Come on, wake up.
You're good with delegation.
Today is Sunday. Everybody's sleeping.
I know. I'm looking forward to my second coffee soon. So
yeah, and you're taking your breakfast, right?
No, I had breakfast. I was good.
Okay. So that's it. So thank you very, very much. You're doing a great job, right? Really.
You too.
It's pretty good. And if you need something for us, let us know, right? And I'll put everything here in the link, your website, so everybody can reach out if you need it. Okay.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank everybody for watching this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you. See you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.